Okay, welcome to the Behind the Systems on the Systems Rehab. This is our live session that I have every single Tuesday. And today I'm going to take you behind the scenes of the new HoneyBook Client Portal. So, HoneyBook recently made some pretty good updates here to the client portal. They've actually enhanced it significantly. All right, so we're gonna look at it from inside of our regular HoneyBook first, because I want to show you exactly what you're looking at and how you can go through and set it up, just kind of customize it yourself here. So right now we're inside of HoneyBook right now. And if you go over to your settings and then you can go to your company settings, this is going to bring you to this screen here. Now, one of the first things that I would recommend, kind of going off from the client portal really quickly, is just to make sure that you go through each one of these tabs, because these tabs, I always feel like sometimes these tabs are missed. I think a lot of times that we want to go through and we want to do other things inside of HoneyBook. We want to set up forms, we want to set up emails, we want to set up automations, but we kind of forget about these company settings. And some of these things in the company settings, especially like your preferences and stuff, these things really set the foundation of how you can streamline your HoneyBook even more by inputting your project fields, your lead sources, even tags. So kind of make sure that you go through and look at those. But what we're going to look at here is the domain and client portal. So the domain and client portal, this is where it basically, like what it says, it's going to be the client portal for your people. So when they go through, they put an inquiry with you, whether that's from a contact form or a lead form, they'll have access to a client portal where you can go through and they can get access to a lot of their different forms. So we're going to look at how it's set up, and it's actually new, which it looks so much better. What I'm hoping that HoneyBook will do is that they will upgrade how it looks for us on our side, because I really enjoy the way that it looks. So I would like to see it look like this from our side as well too. So right now we still have like the same version as before. So what we're seeing now with the client portal, it's really just what it's going to look like for the client. So right now this is client facing client portal. So when you scroll down to the bottom, so first off, you have your section up here with your domain. This is where you can do and add your domain for your HoneyBook portal. So you can either choose like a name and it'll have like .hbportal.co, or you can actually use a company subdomain. We personally just went with our website name and then have the HoneyBook portal from it. And what we'll do is we'll just link the portal domain. We actually have it linked on our website so our clients can easily access it. But also HoneyBook does have that option now that you can toggle on an option where your HoneyBook portal is going to be basically in every single email so they can easily see it. So if they don't know where they could locate it from, it's in all the emails that you send to them. So in this section here, this client portal, this again will be the client portal link, which you could share, you can link, copy the link. If you toggle this client access, if you toggle this on, this is going to be where HoneyBook includes that client portal in all the emails and all the files. I personally recommend to toggle it on. I do not believe it is on by default. So it is something that you would need to go through and just toggle on. But again, it helps your client to be able to know exactly how they can access their client portal. This will also be pretty helpful if the client portal that you're using, is if, like, for example, if you use it a lot for tasks, you want your clients to see every single document, forms, all of that, and you really, really want them to be able to really, really use this client portal, this full layout that they've just changed it over to is going to be really helpful for you. So your client portal just got an upgrade. Okay, so your client portal just got an upgrade. You can go through and you can hit customize here or even here. So when you click on customize, you can customize still to just a degree this login page. So this login page pretty much hasn't really changed from how it was before. It's still going through and being the same login page. So you could change like your background color. You could decide to show your logo if you want to show your logo. You can put in the title, so like the title of your company, or you could put in something custom. So you could put in a different name here if you want to. That's pretty much the gist of what you can do with the client portal. As far as the login page itself, one thing they have added within the last few months is it makes it easier for the clients and leads to be able to log in because they'll have access to create like a magic link sign in. So they could just click one button, it'll send them the link, and then they could just sign in that way. So that has definitely been much easier to have clients to be able to log into their accounts in the past. So like this button here is the login with the magic link. But what we came to see is the portal styles. So now you have an additional tab is these portal styles. These portal styles allow for you now to customize the way that it looked. And you can see the way that it looks right here on the right-hand side, so much better than what it looked like before. It's so much cleaner, so much more laid out. I'm going to bring it up in like one of our demo accounts so we can kind of just like click around and see it. But from your company settings is where you can go through and you can customize it. So you have your page background color. You could do the highlight color. So like what you want your tabs to look like. So are just like a sage green. You can even customize the font. So this is our font, the sidebar color. So even this sidebar, you can fully customize. You can brand it to your company and everything. You can choose the button colors. You can even customize the size of the radius of the button. So like if you want it to be totally like rectangle, you could do that. If you wanted to have more of a corner, so if I were to move it over to 10, you see it's more of an oval shape than what I had before. I had mine like at like a 4. So you could go through and customize it the way that you want to really make it on brand. Even the button font can also be different as well, where you can customize that. This image here is going to be the image, like your default image that you have inside of your HoneyBook account. So I'm going to hit save change. I'm gonna publish because it's the same thing that I had before. And our branding information. Now, I do know from working with clients that some clients have this option located here. Others do not. It's actually in a different place. So in mine, we have our default header image, which is located here. And you could just upload your default header image, which would be the header image where like all your clients will have at the top of their client portal. Or the other place, if you don't have this, because it's kind of hit and miss as far as who has this and who doesn't have this. I've had clients that have started brand new accounts and they have this, and I have others that have old accounts that don't have this. So it's really no rhyme or reason as to who has it and who doesn't from what I've seen just working with clients. But the other part of where you can do this is you can go to the gallery of your pictures inside of HoneyBook, and then you could just go through and set a default. So when you upload the image, it'll allow for you to save it as a default, and then that would be the default image that you have. So if you don't see it here, just go to your gallery, you can see it there. Okay, so right now we're inside of the client portal. So this is what your clients will actually see on their side, your leads and clients. So once someone goes through, they put an inquiry in with your business, they automatically get access to this client portal. Okay. So in this one, this is one of our test accounts I made for myself that I've had for a while. So there's not necessarily a lot going on here. It's just like a test account, but just kind of go through some of the tabs. I absolutely love the layout of the HoneyBook portal at this point in time. Before, it looked like how your portal looks like on your side, and so the tabs were a little bit different. This way, to me, it personally just looks so much cleaner and so much more inviting for clients to actually come inside of their HoneyBook portal if that's something that you want them to do. So you have the image, so like this is the image that we have saved inside of our HoneyBook account. We have the client name, which is just my name. So you can see that I am added on to the project. My company email address is added on to the project. And then my test account, which is Tess Jones, which is also me, is added on to the project as well. So if there were some project details inside of this account, you have your tabs and everything off to the left. And if it had some project details, those details will live in this particular section here. Any messages that have been sent or received on this will be listed here. So like we have like just this test, book your systems audit, that was sent email. So that is actually listed here. You can see that I was the sender of this. So we can click on it and it'll bring me to the activity so I can open up that full message. The beauty of this, which is pretty cool, of having some type of client portal is because you can provide this to your clients and then they can access it and they can see everything that you have for them as far as like email correspondence, payments, tasks, anything like that. They can see that right inside of this one portal, all in one place. So they don't necessarily have to go to several different places to be able to view certain things. Tasks. So if there were any tasks that you assigned to them, they will be able to see those tasks right here in this particular section. And this is just the overview page. So this overview page is pretty much going to show a lot of what's going on this side here. But if there were any task that was in this test project, it will show the task on here. So one thing about like with tasks now, which is great inside of HoneyBook, is you can now assign tasks to your clients. So you can assign them to yourself if you have some tasks for yourself. Like I sometimes assign tasks to myself to like, hey, check back with this client about XYZ, and I will assign it to myself. You can also assign tasks to like team members. And again, like I said, also clients. Now, as far as tasks, not to get on a tangent here, but as far as tasks, I really do feel like it depends on what you do in your business. If you are a service provider that, for example, let's say you are like a photographer or something like that. I love using an example, but you are a photographer. If you're a photographer, your task for your clients, like you being able to like from booking to going through and actually providing them with the deliverables, there's not a whole bunch of tasks and things that you really need them to do. Like you might send them a task to, make sure that you check out like our dress guide or something like that. But it's not a whole bunch of tasks that you have them that they need to do in order for them to be able to get that deliverable of getting their pictures done, right? Versus if you're doing something a little bit more robust for your client, the task may or may not be something like the task feature for giving it to your clients. It may not be something that you may only use HoneyBook to do. So example, like for myself, because we do HoneyBook setups and then we also do system strategy, our tasks are a little bit more robust. We need more things from clients. Projects are built out in a 10-phase step that we do for clients. So there's so many tasks when we're building out a project that all of those tasks, it just wouldn't operate for us at this particular level. So we also use a project management tool to manage the tasks. And so our clients do get access to tasks inside of our project management tool. So we personally don't assign tasks to clients inside of HoneyBook unless it's just like some one-off situation. It would have to be something where we're not even working on maybe like a full build or something like that, where we would sign them a task. But for the most part, all of our tasks that we are assigning is from our project management tool. But if you, depending on your business, you can assign tasks here and you won't even need a project management tool. Active files. So if there's any active files that are listed in this section, the client will be able to log into their account. They'll be able to see all of their active files. You have bookmarks. So basically what bookmarks are is, a matter of fact, let me just show you bookmarks. I'm going to stop sharing this screen really quickly because I want to show you. Let me stop. I actually want to show you what bookmarks are because you might not know what bookmarks are because it's fairly new as far as within the last few months exactly what bookmarks are. So I'm going to let me bring up the task project really quickly and then I will show it to you. All right, so we're back inside of HoneyBook. Again, if you're tuning in live, just let me know if you have any questions. If you're in the replay, let me know if you have any questions. This is inside of our HoneyBook business. So this isn't the client portal, this is inside of our HoneyBook business. And this is the client project, which of course is a test account. It is myself. So if I wanted to go through and attach what we're talking about, bookmarks, you can go through and attach a bookmark. So you would go to up here at the right, click on attach and go to bookmark. This will allow for you to be able to basically add a link to something that you want your clients or yourself or your team to be able to access to without fumbling around. So let me give you an example of what you can add here. So let's say you have a Google Drive, right? And so maybe some of the assets for your deliverables are inside this Google Drive. So instead of just sending them like an email to say, hey, here's access to your Google Drive, which you can definitely do, you can also add the link as a bookmark inside of HoneyBook, and you can add that link to the Google Drive folder. So I'm just going to click on the first link that pops up, and I'm going to just type Google Drive, right? And so then it gives you the option who can view this bookmark, and you can put everyone in the workspace, which is everyone, you and your team members, or you can specify a particular participant. And so then if we were to choose that, then you can choose who you actually want. So this would be like myself, the test client, or I can put everyone in this particular workspace. So what that does is they will have access to this Google Drive, but it will show inside of their client portal as well. So that's very helpful. Like if you're linking out to outside assets or resources outside of HoneyBook that your clients need to be able to have access to, like on an ongoing basis or something like that, you can definitely do that. So when you hit save, and then it will go through and it will be there. And so that's how that would show up in the client portal. That is something very helpful. I would say, almost any business, because even though when we use our project management system, so we use, like I said, Asana for our project management, we also do, even though of course we link them to their Asana, they're on the Asana board, they're added to the Asana board, we also do put that link, we attach it inside of HoneyBook as well. So they can always, like if they're like, oh man, I can't remember, I don't know where Asana is or whatever, they'll still be able to access it inside their client portal if they were to go back to it. All right. So the client portal. Okay. So where's that screen at? We're on the client portal. Okay. So that was bookmarks, right? So that's where bookmarks can become helpful to you. Notes. So inside of HoneyBook, you can put notes. So if you're not familiar with HoneyBook or you haven't been using the notes feature, I like to go through and put notes on all of the client portal. So any type of interaction that I'm having with a client, email communication is fine. I don't have to notate all of that. But let's say, for example, there's something in particular that the client wanted or needed or told me, that I will a lot of times just put that as a note on their profile as well. So that would show up in the notes section. Notes by default inside of HoneyBook, they're only visible to you and your team. However, if there's a note that you want to have visible to your client, then there's a toggle on that you just toggle on to make it visible inside the notes inside of HoneyBook. You just toggle it on and it will make it visible to your clients. So those visible notes inside for your clients, that will actually show here for them. So of course, there's so many different use cases for this, but with HoneyBook too. So give you an example. So there's HoneyBook Note Taker. Okay. And you can let me know if you've ever used it before. But HoneyBook Note Taker is their AI system. And so basically, let's say if you're like a VA or something like that, or online business manager, and you are taking meetings with your clients, AI Note Taker can basically join those meetings. So they can join your Zoom sessions, and then it's basically taking notes for you on the back end. Well, when they take those notes, they send you a notification via email, let you know that the notes are done, but they're added to the notes section. That, along with the notes, it gives you like a good summary. It gives you like the notes, like the main notes of the call. And it also gives you a transcript at the bottom. Something like that, it may be something that you want your clients to have access to. So maybe you might toggle that on so they can then be able to go through and reference it later. Okay. So that's just like an example that you can put there. So when we go to activity, so on this side here, so we have activity side. Activity is going to show like all the activity that's going on inside of this this client's account. So they'll be able to see all the messages that you sent and received, which is pretty cool inside of here. They can even reply back to a message. So let's say, for example, they see this message. They can click on reply back to, Kenniqua and see this message, or they can also click this and still send a new message. So maybe they want to send you an email. They can click on send new email, put in their subject line, and just start typing out the message as they normally would and just hit send. They can do all of that inside their client portal. Again, we mentioned tasks, but again, all of the tasks that they have assigned to them. Files, so they'll be able to see all the files that they have sent or received. So like this one, again, is a test account. This form, of course, sent it to myself. It was just the audit. And so I can see the status of this audit. I can see, so like if I were to click into it, I can see exactly what this audit, what the actual form looks like. Now, this one is an expired. So it's telling me that it is expired, which means that you can have it expire by default. So there's certain settings that you can change to have your files expired. I personally do expire my forms. I don't leave them open forever. The expiration date may depend on exactly like what it is, but most forms do have some type of expiration date on them. Payments. So if there were payments on the account, they'll be able to see if there were any payments that were listed inside of the account. So as you can see, like your clients will be able to have access to be able to do so much inside of HoneyBook and be able to see exactly what's really going on with their project, and they'll be able to go through, like if they need to access a form or they need to upload something to you. So like even in files, they can go through, like if you needed something from them, like say you needed a logo or something, maybe you're a web designer or something, you can go and they can just click on upload, and then they can upload files, pull it from your computer and upload files right inside of here, and it will show inside of your company portal for that particular client, and you can get the assets from them that way as well. Now, depending on what you're having them upload, some of them do have like limitations. So if it's like, let's say, very huge files or like video files or something like that, you might be best to use like Google Drive, then link it or something like that. But if it's just like logos, stuff like that, certain like documents, like if you need questions for like a questionnaire or something like that, then that type of stuff, you can just have them uploaded into HoneyBook if you want to. Payments. So like I said, you can view and keep tabs on payments to see what payments. Of course, right now there's no payments on this particular one because it is a test account, but it will tell you the form that the payment would be attached onto. So this was like the file that it would have been attached onto. And again, all of the notes that they have access to. I just wanted to go through and kind of just do that walkthrough. As always, if you're not already listening to the Systems Rehab podcast, definitely go check it out. Go check us out on the Systems Rehab podcast. You can listen to it on Apple, Spotify. Of course, the video version is here on YouTube. It releases the audio version releases on Wednesdays. The video version normally releases on Thursdays, but definitely go through and check it out as well. And then if you need clarity around your system, so if you need help to try to figure out where to kind of move in your business, I can help you identify the number one system gap that you're having in your business, whether it's a system gap or a tech gap, and give you the steps on what to do next. And that is a free 20-minute call. So if you go to, and I can put in a chat, but if you go to yoursystemspro.com/clarity, you can book that free 20-minute call where I will give you the information that you need to give you the next step of what to do in your business. So again, that's yoursystemspro.com/clarity. But I appreciate you guys coming. If you're watching the replay, let me know what you guys think about the new HoneyBook portal, and I will check you guys out in the next video. Bye.